tell us a little bit about SUP Yoga and what brought you to the water.
For me, it just sort of seemed like a natural progression. The first time I hopped on a paddleboard was actually with the intention of doing some sort of stand-up paddleboard fitness, and immediately I fell in love with the way that it forces you to really focus into the stabilizer muscles. So you can't just rely on your big macro muscles to do all of the work. Here you have to let all of those little core muscles and all those little stabilizer muscles within the legs and the hips themselves to really keep you on balance. So when you add yoga or Pilates or whatever type of fitness into that, it takes that to the next level, so you can't be cheating anymore, pushing onto one side because you'll clearly fall off, or if you're a little bit unstable, you have to pull everything right back in to be able to get that stability.
So what would you say to somebody who thinks they want to try it, but they're not sure, they're maybe not as experienced in yoga and not as experienced in stand-up, but they really want to try it?
I think it's fine. If you've done yoga before or if you've paddled before, just go ahead and find a class, something that's close to you. If you want to do it in a pool if it's cold outside, or if you want to find somewhere that's a little bit warmer. I teach people all the time in Maui who have never done paddleboard yoga at all. Either they've never paddled before or they've never done yoga before. It's a little trickier if you've never done yoga before, just because you're kind of always watching what's going on and the instructor can't come over to assist you as easily. But I say just go for it, because what's the worst thing that happens? All you do is get wet.
So what does the water bring to you almost spiritually? As what does that add as opposed to a traditional classroom?
For me personally, I don't really like being inside, so it takes that whole other element and brings it back into the studio, you could say. It allows that grace and strength of the water to be part of your practice. And you really do have to truly, it sounds super cliche, but you have to go with the flow. You have to be super present and constantly focusing on what you're actually doing, as opposed to letting the mind get clouded with dizzy thoughts of the day. But for me, it really does allow me to kind of get out of my head. It allows me to feel more in my own practice, more in my own spirit, more in my own body.
And now there's tons of different types of yoga classes, you know, yin yang, vinyasa flows, all sorts of things. Is there a particular type of practice or progression that seems to fit really well, or just go all out, go for anything?
I think anything works. I generally teach a vinyasa flow on the boards, but even if you just go out and start practicing different poses, or want to try, like, you know, see how it feels with things that are the way you're moving. Obviously, the more points of contact you take away from the board, the more unstable it will be, so the harder the pose will be. But I don't think it really matters. Whatever practice you do on land and that works for you, I would just bring it to the water.
Well, thanks a lot and have fun today. Good luck.